Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of Drew's Food Reviews, and today I've got another episode of Classic Candy Corner. And I do remember these from when I was little, and seems like I used to get these at some of the department stores. You'd have them where you can get them by the pound. There was a couple other places you get them. A lot of times you get them like in bulk at candy stores. I believe they maybe had them in like a box. These are similar to Boston baked beans. They were like they're peanuts, and then they had like a candy shell coating on them. And these are a little bit different. And these are called French burnt peanuts. And they've got that little shell on there, but it's kind of like a spiky shell. For 1.4 ounces is 180 calories. So it's like about a quarter of the bag. And yeah, do remember getting these. And like I said, it's the, get this open, here we go. It is the shell, and the shell is kind of like spiky, and then it's got the peanut underneath it. And it is a lot like the Boston baked beans. I think the other ones were a little bit more orange though. But anyway, yes. Yeah, real close to those Boston baked beans or peanuts with the shell on them. I'm guessing the burnt is, yeah, they're a little bit smoky from the peanuts on the inside. And I think it's maybe the skin gets roasted and it kind of adds that little bit burnt flavor to it. Very crunchy, fairly thick on that coating. Yes, and I used to get these. It seems like I get them when you were like in, I don't know if it was JCPenney's or Montgomery Ward's or one of those department stores, and they had like a candy counter. And they had like nonpareils, peanut butter cups, bonbons, saltwater taffy. A lot of that kind of things. And you buy them by like quarter pound, half a pound. Chocolate covered peanuts. Wow. Jordan almonds, I guess. And I know these were kind of like spiky. And I remember one time, now this is interesting. This is a story from way back. One year I did work, I believe I was like 16 and a half. And for the summertime I worked at the county fair. And I had to get a special permit to be able to work when I was 16. I had a work permit. And they hired me to do was sweeping up. You know, walk around with the little broom and a little dustpan. And that was what it was. And I remember I had to work the whole time, every day of the fair. And one time they put me in one of the exhibition halls. And, you know, where they had all the products for the, you know, cookware, Miracle cleaners, Ginsu knives. And they would have the demonstrations and all that. And one guy had it was like a candy counter, and he had like all the popcorn and the like popcorn, beef jerky, jelly beans, all that stuff, and you buy them by like, you know, half pound or whatever. And then the other guy who was right next to him was the I think it was Vitamix. And they would do the little, smoothie displays. They'd show it all, and they give out the free samples. And then at the end of the day, when they didn't have anybody else, they gave me all the free samples. And also the guy that had the candy stand, he'd give me a couple handfuls of these. I know they were the burnt peanuts, and it was like I had snack on them, or they were toffee peanuts or whatever, that he would give like free samples. And I remember they used to give me these. I'd come around, get a couple handfuls, make sure everything was all cleaned up, and then I'd go over and get samples from the smoothie guy. And then, I don't know, I make my rounds around. Sometimes they'd have like leftover samples of like smoothies or cheese and crackers or something, I don't know. But I remember giving me handfuls of these French burnt peanuts, and I kind of remembered that. I only worked there the 1 year. It wasn't really a fun experience because I had to work every day for like 18 days, walking around, sweeping up after people. And wow, back then it was like, I think I made like $2.50 an hour or something. I got, for my whole check, I got like $160 for 2.5 weeks. Like $80 a week, I think. It wasn't a whole lot, and I had to work every day. I think it was like 6 days every day, 6 hours every day. And this would have been back in what, 84? So I do remember back to having those kind of candies. And then, yeah, these were always like the candy stores, you get them by the pound. Lemon Heads, M&M's, French burnt peanuts, Boston baked beans, all the real classic ones, Snow Caps, Raisinets, Jordan almonds. Remember all those ones? They were good. And I don't know, I just remember having to work at the fair, and these were one of the ones that I get free samples of every day. So it's just something I remember, something I grew up with. Maybe if you guys have tried this, French burnt peanuts, leave a comment down below if you've seen them, if you remember them, or if they were your favorite, or if it's like, oh no, they're gross. I'd like to hear from you, whatever your opinion was on this or some of the other classic candies. So it does kind of remind me of the old days. And like I said, these are still pretty easy to find, most of the classic candies. And like I said, this was a generic one. I don't know if there's an actual name brand of these, but you can still find a lot of them if you go to a grocery store, like the gummy bears and fruit rings and gumdrops, things like that. So head on down and see if you can check them out. Maybe go back to some of the old days from when you were little and remember a little bit about all the classic candies. So anyways, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and the notification bell right over here. That way you won't miss any future content, or if I go live, you won't miss the fun. So until next time, Drew's Food Reviews, when I will be trying something classic and maybe French burnt for you, ooh la la. I'm gonna put this aside and I'll try a little bit more, maybe somewhere down the line. And I'm always on the lookout for classic candies for you guys, and I'm always finding them here and there. So until next time, guys, been another episode of Classic Candy Corner, and I'll talk to you later.